What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with a quick video. Today we're going to talk about Brandon Ingram, a guy that showed some signs in high school. He wasn't one of the top 10 players. A lot of people don't know that. Brandon Ingram was not a lottery pick coming out of high school. He became more consistent. He had a better second half of his college season, and he showed versatility that he can get some rebounds at the small forward position, that he can post up smaller players and shoot over the top. He started getting more consistent with the pull-up jumper, and he wasn't a great, but he was a solid finisher, mostly relying on his length to stay in the air and be able to reconstruct his shot, kind of like what they call him 2K acrobat, and that helped him because he had the advantage of being longer and taller and still athletic enough to where he's difficult to guard for a player that's not athletic and long. And he doesn't have that advantage anymore going into the NBA. And that's what I wanted to talk about, why Brandon Ingram has been struggling, not just last season, not in just preseason, but he struggled even in his first game. And even though they beat the Phoenix Suns, that was a terrible defensive team. If you watch the highlights, if you watch the game, they basically wasn't guarding anybody. Even Lonzo Ball, not really known as a scorer, was basically getting anything he wanted. And watching Brandon Ingram take advantage of that, it increased his stats. His field goal percentage was better, and he had a lot of spot up, wide open threes. Some of them was contested, but he was already in rhythm. He already had the ball almost released, so which that means he was just focused on the shot already before they contested it, which means he had a good look. But I feel like the reason why I was going to make this into a breakdown, but I'm going to wait until later in the season. The problem that I have with Brandon Ingram is he hasn't really made enough adjustments, and his jump shot is not wet enough. And let's talk about the jump shot first. In the NBA, you only have a certain amount of time when you can get a shot off without a contest. So since everybody is quick, fast, they're athletes, let's go ahead and say that, and they long at the small forward position, Brandon Ingram doesn't have, in the three-point line is farther back. He doesn't have the time to set his, he like to get in position, hold the ball a little bit, then flick it up. He doesn't really have that time anymore. Even in the Phoenix game, he tried to do the patient three. He has to be quicker on his releases. He has to be quicker on his decision making, even when it comes to scoring or passing. To me, he's still playing laid back. He's still playing cool. He's still playing like he's comfortable, and he's not dominating games. I'm not saying that Brandon Ingram is going to be a bust. I said I wanted him to be the #1 pick because of his potential. But Ben Simmons has the body for the NBA already. He already has athleticism at his advantage at the power forward position. And he already is just a better athlete and already has the body. Brandon Ingram still has to grow into his body, get some mass, get some girth, and he still has to, he's not as athletic as other players at the position, but he's still an athlete. And with those disadvantages, you have to be more precise, you have to be more smarter, and you have to outplay your opponent when you aren't as long and lanky as you used to be compared to the players in college and high school, and you're not able to finish and get to spots as quick as he wants to. Like even in college, like I said, sometimes he will get beat to the basket, and he will have to do all contorting just to make a shot. He can't really do that in the NBA because he's scoring on athletic 7-footers that can meet him at the paint. He doesn't have the length advantage anymore. So when he's going to finish the basketball at the rim, he doesn't have the advantage anymore unless he's on a smaller point guard or they switch something and he got somebody in the post. Other than that, he doesn't have the advantages that he had in growing up in the lesser leagues. But he still hasn't, to me, adjusted to the NBA level, and it might take him another year. We all thought this might be Brandon Ingram year because how he played in Summer League, but I don't really think it is. I'm a fan of Brandon Ingram. I think he's going to be fine. He do have to just be more smarter, more cautious, and more precise. When he comes off a screen, he has to be ready to shoot. He has to be ready to go. He has to be able to come off that screen, get a look at the basket, get in his rotation when he catch the ball, and just go straight up like J.J. Redick or something. I'm not saying he's going to be the shooter like J.J. Redick, but if you're going to have to take those spot-up threes, the corner threes, the mid-range shots, you have to be prepared. You have to be ready to make a decision. Either you're going to put the ball on the floor or you're going to shoot the basketball when you in that position and when you have that time. You don't have that much time to do all the thinking, to do all the moving. If you either going to shoot the shot or you're going to put it on the floor or make a play for somebody else. He has to make this adjustment. I'm tired of seeing him catch the ball, pump fake, don't really know where he's going to go, run into two people, pass the ball, be passive aggressive. He has to be aggressive. When you get the ball in your position, if you get the ball where you like it, you have to be in attack mode. Unless you're trying to clear out for that side. But if you have a mismatch or advantage or a shot that you like, you have to be really aggressive and take it or make plays or put the ball on the floor and make decisions or just pass the ball up and do a different play. Because right now he just too mellow and just too cool, and he's allowing people to make his job more difficult than it has to be. And he can't do that if he wants to be an NBA superstar. He has to be imposing his will. He has to show that nobody can guard him. He has to have that confidence, and he has to have that swagger, and he just don't have that. And I'm looking at him like Brandon Ingram. I give him a pass because he didn't start all last season. I give him a pass because he started 40 games, and he had to get in rhythm. He had to get used to his teammates. He had to get adjusted to the NBA. Getting injured in summer league really didn't help him because he really did need to work on some things, and he really need to get focused in the offense, especially with playing with Alonzo Ball. He did need that, and he missed it because he got almost hurt in summer league. In preseason, he still has struggles, and now you start to wonder, is Brandon Ingram just like D'Angelo Russell? 1 minute, that's the guy, as what Byron Scott said. We know who we wanted to take, and we don't regret it. 2 years later, D'Angelo Russell on the Brooklyn Nets. Brandon Ingram, he's untradeable. He's our guy. Now we're starting to see him struggle. Now we're starting to see him indecisive. And he might be just like D'Angelo Russell. They took him number 2. He's our guy. Next thing you know, 2 years later, he gone. Brandon Ingram can be just that same guy. A guy with a lot of potential. A guy that can score the ball in your mind. He has all the tools. And he hasn't been able to put it together. But like I said, I will give him a pass because he hasn't been playing consistent enough. I'll give him a pass because he doesn't have the body and he doesn't really have the basketball IQ where it needs to be at to be a dominant player. It comes along with playing years. It comes along with knowing the footage, knowing what defenders like, playing against other players, knowing their tendencies. All that stuff comes with experience. And the more experience you have, they say the older, the wiser. It comes with playing in games, being in them situations, playing against this coach, playing against this system, and learning the player that's guarding you, his tendency, what he like to do against you, what he don't like to do, and you can learn how to attack him, how not to attack him, and how he will guard you. All that works into your advantage the longer that you play basketball and the more comfortable you be. I like Brandon Ingram a lot. I hope Magic Johnson don't pass on him quick. Hopefully they don't get rid of him quick. Oh yeah, we can get Paul George and they get rid of Brandon Ingram. Oh yeah, we can get DeMarcus Cousins and they just get rid of him. Just like Buddy Hield, he was a guy with a lot of potential. He started getting better when he got consistent minutes in Sacramento. But at first they just packaged him to get DeMarcus Cousins, and now we don't even know how good he's going to be until he plays more minutes and plays more games. So hopefully they don't just give up on Brandon Ingram like that. Hopefully they stay with them, stay in them, continue to teach them, continue to be patient with them, let them get through the growing pains, even if it costs them some W's this year, because they most likely going to probably get a lottery pick. I think they still got that condition where they can lose the pick, though, which is unfortunate, but they still got young talent regardless that's going to continue to get better. And they added with Kyle Kuzma and Lonzo Ball, so they'll still be fine. But hopefully they don't give up on them too quick. Hopefully they stay with them and be patient with them and see how he's a guy with a lot of potential, a lot of length, a lot of things he can do, versatility, and he can play some forward probably if he put more weight on, and he can shoot the ball spread out the court. He can put the ball on the floor. He can make plays for others. He can post up. He can shoot over smaller defenders. All that sounds beautiful, but he has to do it consistently, and he has to take advantage of his advantages as quick as possible. They said the same thing about Blake Griffin, that he's too hesitant. He doesn't really be He does a little bit too much, and I'm seeing the same thing in Brandon Ingram. The only difference is Blake Griffin averaged 20 and 12 his first year and was an all-star, and Brandon Ingram averaged 9 points. That's a huge difference. But he might have a candidate in eventually to be the most improved player. He might can be one of the best players in the league. I see the potential, but a lot of players that's drafted has potential, and a lot of them never pan out. A lot of them never live up to the hype, and a lot of them become busts. Hopefully, Brandon Ingram ain't one of them, but I'm just letting you guys know. I'm starting to see bad signs of him, especially when it comes to defense and scoring the basketball. I'm seeing signs where I'm kind of cautious, but at the same time, he is young. He's very young at that. He's not even 21. He's only 20 years old. So, like I said, hopefully they patient with him and stay with him and continue to develop him and let him go through his growing pains, let him go through his mistakes, and hopefully that makes him a better player from watching the footage, from being a student of the game, and hopefully he loves the game enough that he's willing to take it serious enough to make this his game and make this his league, because he has the potential to be one of the better players, top 10, top 15 in the future. And it's all up to him. It don't matter how much it don't matter how much you own him. It don't matter how much you teach him. He still has to want it for himself. And if he does want it, if he does love it, he should be able to get there, and hopefully he will, because I am a fan of his. Let me know what you think about Brandon Ingram. Is he can he be a most improved player candidate? Do you see him being a superstar? Do you see him just being an all-star? Or do you see him being more like a Trevor Ariza, a guy that can play these, knock the spot up three, and not really be a dominant player offensively, not a dominant defensive player, but solid at defense and offense, and sometimes can get hot, sometimes can be clutch, and sometimes you never know what you're going to get out of him. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis signing out. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Also, check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. And the link will be in the description in the comment section below. Click the link and send you to my website. Click the link and send you to my Facebook page. Like to show support on my Facebook page. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis signing out. And let me know what you guys think about Brandon Ingram, the guy that was compared to KD, even though I don't see that much comparisons to him.